Hey y'all, it's your girl Hope TV Bestie, and I watch good shit. And I just got done watching the season finale of Lucky. Now I thought this was a perfect ending to the season. I don't think there's going to be another one. I think this is just a one and done because it was based off a book. But I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. We start with a flashback to a job that Lucky and John are doing. And Lucky is a child. She's pretty unwilling to do this job. You can tell she's very anxious and unsure about it. But because she is a child, John is like, everything will be fine. He keeps reassuring her that all will go as planned. Then we go to Detective and Lucky, and they meet up, take the drive out to the meetup location. Detective Rand encourages Lucky to not get any ideas. She's like, stick to the plan. If Wayne isn't there, then Detective Rand says she'll do what she has to do. Priscilla, she starts to get ready, and Dutch is like, you sure about this? And she's like, yeah. Lucky's gonna have that money, I'm positive. He wants to come along, but Priscilla's like, well, they didn't invite you. He gives her a watch that he found in Carrie's things, and he puts it on her. Wayne shows up, he's ready to roll, so Priscilla and Wayne take off. Now, Lucky and Detective Rand, they arrive. So Peter, he starts running through the plan with Lucky. And he's like, we want you to get confirmation from Wayne that he was involved in the gas scam and that he profited from it. Then they show her where they'll be watching her up on top of the roof of this tower. And so they go up and she waits. Lucky also, she starts to remember this con with her dad, and it's to fake a drowning. While she's thinking about this, Agent Peter, he asks Detective Rand if she thinks Lucky can do this. And she's like, yeah, she's not gonna cave. She'll be fine. On the way to the meetup location, Priscilla and Wayne are talking, and Priscilla thanks Wayne for getting her out of prison. She says she's sorry it took her so long to track down the money. Wayne says he's sorry for how things went with Carrie. He's not good with emotions, which is why he never had a kid. And Priscilla's like, you did have a kid, Wayne. And he said, oh no, you had a kid. That was your choice. You knew how I felt about it. They just agreed to only move forward and focus on the future, not the past anymore. The gang's out here. Everybody's ready. Wayne and Lucky, they're surprised at how each other looks. She's like, I didn't know you was going to be so old. He was like, I didn't know you was going to be so young. Wayne tells her that none of this is her fault. This is John. And if things had been different, she could have worked for him. And Lucky's like, no thanks. I see how you treat women that you work with. And she looks at Priscilla. Lucky sort of starts goading Wayne. She says, Carrie always wanted us to have a little girl because he didn't think he could raise a son because he didn't understand why his father wanted nothing to do with him. Stealing the money from Wayne was Carrie's last little fuck you to him. Peter and Detective Rand, they're up on the roof and they're like, what is Lucky doing? Wayne, he starts getting impatient and he's like, money only means so much to me. This is about principle. If you push me enough, I start to think that killing you would be worthwhile. I'll consider it in a heartbeat. Where my money at? And Lucky says, okay, here you go. So she handed him the phone. Priscilla nor Wayne look pleased that the money is in crypto. And Priscilla's like, you converted it to crypto? And she said, I ain't do that. That was Carrie. I'll give you the seed phrase, but you gotta let us walk out of here first. I'll text you the seed phrase and then you can do whatever you want to do with the money. So Priscilla's pissed. And she's like, Lucky ain't never say nothing about this. She never mentioned this. I don't like how this is going down. And Lucky's like, well, I didn't really think it was important since Wayne already knew. What now? Yeah. Just like he knew how to find Carrie in La Jolla. And then she goes, yeah, just like he knows that the FBI is here and they're listening in. Huh? Wayne is quiet. Wayne ain't saying nothing. Priscilla is confused and so am I. So how does he know cops are here? And she's like, oh yeah, Agent Peter and Wayne, they're buddies. He told him about this meetup. Detective Rand and Peter are on the roof and they listening to all of this. And so Detective Rand, she pull out her gun on Peter. He put his hands up and he's like, whatever you're thinking, this is a bad idea. So Priscilla is like, Lucky, whatever you doing, I don't think it's going to go how you think it's going to go. Lucky says, well, I don't know. Maybe Peter is a new addition to the team because if he's not a new addition, that would have meant that he could have prevented you from going to jail when you got arrested with John. Wayne ain't said nothing this whole time. Up on the roof, Peter, He put down his weapon. He slided over. At Rand, she still got her gun drawn on him. Wayne finally speaks. He's like, when you're used to being the smartest person in the room and then you're not, you end up being ill prepared. Come on, bring him out. Here comes John. Lucky's like, what? Dad, what are you doing here? And Wayne's like, go ahead and give me that seed phrase. Peter and Detective Rand, they're talking. She's like, he flipped you? And he said, no. I went and talked to Wayne years ago and I made a deal with him. And she's like, what? And he said, yeah, this job sets us up to fail. So I figured I might as well get paid in the meantime. So Detective Rand is like, okay, well, you're going to jail now. He manages to overtake her and they start fighting. Now they up on this tower roof, rolling around, just a fighting. Wayne's people, they come out, they start beating up John. Wayne demands this seed phrase. He also reminds Lucky that she has always been a pawn in John's game. Lucky said, look, I'm sticking to the plan. We are walking, and then I'll give you the seed phrase, and you can do whatever you want to do, but you gotta let us go. Wayne thinks about it, and he's like, you know what? Fuck the money. Nah, John stole from me and he's got to suffer punishment. And his punishment is to watch Lucky die. Up on the roof, Agent Peter, he knocks Detective Rand off the roof. Now, we didn't hear her fall, so I was like, I don't really think she fell. She probably hanging on to something. Down on the ground, Wayne tells Priscilla she got to kill Lucky because this is her mess and she got to clean it up. She a little hesitant. But she go ahead, she take the gun from Wayne. Peter, he gathers himself, he dusts himself off, and he go look over the edge to make sure Rand done fell. She did not fall, like I thought. She was hanging on a little pole. She start climbing back up. Agent Peter, he keep coming, so she get back up, and then he starts kicking her around. Meanwhile, on the ground, Priscilla, she got the gun. John is like, please, Priscilla, don't do this. Don't do this. Lucky, she start crying. She's like, Priscilla. Priscilla just look at her and she's like, I'm sorry. And she turns around, she shoots Wayne in the legs. And I'm like, of course, because in the car, she realized Wayne don't care about me because she was saying, thank you for getting me out of prison. And he said, well, I'm sorry about how it all went down with Carrie. And she's like, well, I would think that you would have gotten me out of prison regardless. And he was just kind of like, And then we see he's been working with Agent Peter, which does mean he could have prevented her from going to jail at all. So yeah, she like, fuck you, you didn't care about me. Detective Rand, she manages to get her gun. So her and Peter, they still struggling, rolling around, but she eventually is able to shoot him and then pushes him off the roof. Back on the ground, after Priscilla done shot Wayne, his men, they pull out their guns. But guess who shows up? Dutch! And I was like, thank God Dutch is there. So Dutch come out of nowhere. He started, shooting at the place. And he manages to shoot and kill one of the men. The other one runs off. So he follows him. Eventually, he kills him too. While all of this is going on, John gets free. Lucky runs over to him. She helps him up and she's like, run! So they take off. Now, Priscilla, she walks up to Wayne. She shoot him again in the side this time. And she's like, if you had just tried to be a father to Carrie, you wouldn't even be in this situation. She's shoot him right in the face. I said, damn. Lucky and John, they run right into Dutch. And Dutch is like, all right, that's it. Let's go. So he bring him back to Priscilla. And Priscilla's like, I told you, Lucky, this wasn't going to go how you thought it was going to go. This is really on John, though. What I should do with y'all? And Lucky's like, well, you could let us go. She's like, and why would I do that? And Lucky's like, you could do for us what they didn't do for you. Whatever you're going to do, I'm tired of running. I'm tired of running from you. I'm tired of running from Wayne. I'm tired of running from everybody. And I'm not going to do it anymore. Priscilla's like, all right. And she said, you know what? I'm going to do this for Carrie. I can take the car. I'm going to let you go. And Lucky's like, what about the money? And she said, I think Carrie would want you to have it. So take that too. John is like, thank you. And she's like, yeah, you lucky bastard. And so they walk off. And Priscilla's like, now look, I don't ever want to see either of y'all ever again. So they peel off in the car. Detective Rand, she climbed down the tower. She's standing over the two bodies, Wayne and Agent Peter. So back at the hotel, Lucky, she started, doctoring up John's injuries. And he asked her how she knew that Agent Peter was dirty. And she said, well, I figured it out once Priscilla told me Wayne found Carrie in La Jolla, because he couldn't have done that without having somebody on the inside. And so John's like, all right, let's go celebrate. And she's like, I just want to go to sleep. And he's like, come on, buy your old man a burger. I know you're good for it. Detective Rand, she shows up at Priscilla's house. And she's like, you got Wayne, huh? And Priscilla's like, look, you killed somebody today too. And she's like, if you're here to continue that, come on and take me out. Get it over with. And Detective Rand says, oh no, I want to see you in a jail cell. I want you to rot. And Priscilla's like, you got Wayne and a federal agent. Go home. Aren't you tired? Detective Rand looks at her with tears in her eyes and she's like, I'm going to get you. And I was like, Detective Rand, I get it. I know this is your white whale. You want to get Priscilla, but we see how Moby Dick ended. He didn't get the whale and he died. You still had a red letter day. You won. Go home to your kid. At dinner, John tells Lucky about this dream that he has, that he is carrying her as a baby in his prison sheets. He shows his beautiful gift, her, to the guards, and then they let him and her walk out into the sun. So he's like, Lucky, what's your dream? And she's like, I don't have dreams like that. The only dream I have is I'm underwater, I can't breathe, and then I wake up. That's it. And John's like, that's about you not having enough time to do stuff. What do you really want to do? And Lucky's like, I'm done. I don't want to do nothing else. And he's like, well, what you gonna do with this money? And she's like, I don't want nothing to do with the money. And John's like, well, how did you know the seed phrase? And so she holds up the bear and she pushes it, and it starts saying a little phrase. And he's like, oh, okay. So back at the hotel, they laying in the bed. They start reminiscing about growing up. And Lucky gets tired. She turns over. She go to sleep. We all know John ain't going to do right. And I said, as soon as Lucky wake up in the morning, John and that bear going to be gone. Here go the next day. I was absolutely correct. John riding in the car. And he started looking down at the teddy bear. And I was like, he having second thoughts. Because I believe in second chances. I believe people can redeem themselves. I just also believe that you got to be ready and willing to do that. And a lot of people aren't. He grabbed the bear and he pushed it. And instead of saying the seed phrase, it's Lucky. And I said, Lucky's a lot smarter than a lot of people give her credit for. So she has recorded a message on the bear. She says, I had a feeling you would do this. She never remembers a time that he wasn't working an angle. That's just who he is. She recounts this fake drowning. She says that she could not swim, but she jumped in the water basically because he made her. And thankfully, somebody did save her. And then when the manager showed up, John made this big scene and he threatened to sue them just so he could get their rooms comped. And she's like, the truth about that situation is you were willing to risk my life for the con. And I'm not willing to do that anymore. Detective Rand, she arrives at work the next day and there's this FedEx package on her desk and it's the laptop and the seed phrase inside the box. So Lucky goes on to tell her dad that she's not giving him the money, but she is going to give him his freedom. I hope you use it wisely. She tells him she loves him, but he will never see her again. This is goodbye. And I was like, man. John, he has stopped. He has pulled the car over at this point. He just standing on the side of the road like, I cannot believe this. And very last scene, we see Lucky walking on the beach. She's putting her toes in the sand in the water, which is what she said she always wanted to do, like when all this was over. And I said, way to go, Lucky. You finally freed yourself. And that is the real win, because Priscilla was right. It's never enough for John. And I said, y'all know it, Q Hamilton, he will never be satisfied. That was the end of the season. I thought it was a great ending. I don't know if there'll be a second season. I don't think there has to be a second season. I feel like this was the perfect ending to like a limited series. It is a book, so I feel like it was a great ending to the book. If they did do a second season, I'm not saying I wouldn't watch, but I don't feel like there has to be another season. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you love the ending? What did you feel about the season overall? I'm your TV movie bestie. I'm on all the shows, so just like, subscribe, and follow, and I will see y'all on the next show, on the next episode. Bye, besties.